Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. Let me ask the question that's probably on all of your minds to this group. You guys are all followed by more than 1 million people. How do you get followers on social media? Isaiah, want to kick us off?
Wait, you want me to start? Come on, man.
Okay, all right, you're out. Sarati.
Okay.
That's a tough question. That's why I brought my knitting. In case you ask a tough question, I can just use this.
It's a loaded question, yeah.
You can start.
I'll start. Okay, well, all of us got followers in different ways. I got my followers on TikTok first. I think for anyone who's brand new to social media and is just getting started, TikTok is the #1 place to grow. From there, I took my following and took it to Snapchat. Once you do get a following and you start to understand the analytics and how to get more views and little strategic things to put in your videos, you can do it on all other platforms, except YouTube for me. I struggle on YouTube, but they crush it on YouTube. You know, everyone's different in how they build their following.
Caspar, what's the secret for YouTube?
For YouTube, well, collaboration. I know you disagree with me.
I disagree.
That's why, again, I have my knitting, because when we have arguments, I get nervous and I get to knit my way through it.
All right.
But no, for me, it was collaboration. I was lucky enough to be in the early days where you could give each other shout-outs and you would grow tens of thousands of subscribers through collaborating with other creators. And then further on in my career, I was able to collaborate with the likes of people like Ed Sheeran, Kevin Hart, even got to meet the Queen a couple of times. I'm not sure if it was an official collaboration or not between her and I, but to me, I looked at it like one. So collaboration is key, consistency, watch time as well, and reminding people that they can subscribe. It's free, it's supportive, and it's a great way to receive content notifications.
Yeah.
That makes sense. I guess the question is, how can this person sitting over there get 1 million followers?
That's the question.
How?
TikTok.
Okay, so
TikTok.
I think it boils down to 3 things. One, be interesting. Just don't be goddamn boring. Say something, scream when you have to. Look interesting, say something controversial, say something that you deeply believe in. People tend to follow. 2, be privileged. Have enough money in the bank to focus on content creation. Or you know, because it requires a lot of mental effort to create content all the time. And 3, be consistent. When I got my first ever viral video, I made 270 videos that failed.
Yep.
So I made 1,000 videos in 1,000 days. So that consistency, every single day, you gotta make content. Only then can you get followers or people interested in what you have to say.
Yep.
Now, someone brought it up earlier, but I want to ask you which platform to bet on, because we're hearing all this stuff about Facebook, the fact that Instagram is no longer so popular for kids, YouTube is in direct competition with TikTok. I sometimes wonder whether people will have a future on YouTube or Instagram and whether TikTok is the only game in town.
Yeah.
Where should people bet, and are the other platforms actually going to continue to succeed?
So I'll give my take, and let's disagree. I started my journey on Facebook. I know it's not a creator platform, but I love Facebook. We got over 38 million followers on that platform in 13 different languages. I believe Facebook has the ability to make you go viral within a day. I don't think YouTube has that ability in the last 13 years, but Shorts has changed the game. The general answer is this. You should be at a platform in which there is demand for content, but not enough supply of content. TikTok blew up. There's a lot of demand for content, but not enough supply of content creators. That's why you make a video and it goes viral. So now, I think TikTok has that imbalance, YouTube Shorts has that imbalance, and LinkedIn has that imbalance.
I love that. Please add me on LinkedIn. That would be very helpful. But I agree. It's not just about the platforms. It's about what's within the platforms. For example, Reels on Instagram, that was a great way. There was a short supply. When these platforms launched their new competitive edge to each other, they're competing for the creators to use that product. And they know what creators like is to get views, grow their audience. So when someone brings out something new, even we were talking about Snapchat earlier,
right.
When they kind of started coming back again, they provided great incentives for creators through the Snapchat funding, through also giving the audience to the creators and making it more easy.
Yep. That's what everybody wants. I mean, for me, I went from TikTok to Snapchat, and I immediately blew up on Snapchat. And then I really started pushing on my Instagram Reels. So I'll take my TikTok videos, post them on Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, and my YouTube Shorts. All 5, and they'll all have different reactions. Sometimes they do great on TikTok and go super viral, and are horrible on Facebook and Instagram because it's such a different audience. So, I mean, you asked which platform I would bet on. I personally love Snapchat. I know it's different, and they might disagree because we are different, but Gen Z, they're all on Snapchat, and if you are trying to look for a younger audience, that's where you go. The content isn't the greatest on their platform, but the content isn't great on a lot of platforms like Netflix.
You don't like Snapchat, so why don't you answer
No.
that?
I love Snapchat. If someone is listening, I love
like
Snapchat.
Snapchat, don't work with Nas Daily.
I would say this, though. And that's a good point, Sarati, is like, what audience do you want?
Yeah.
If you want kids, go to YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and Snapchat. If you want CEOs, go to LinkedIn. If you want technology people, go to Substack. If you want 25 and above, go to Facebook. I want 25 and above. I don't care about kids.
Yeah.
So that's why I love Facebook.
Yeah.
Because the audience is someone I can relate to. So I think that boils down to what audience do you want?
But for me, I do all of them, all 5, so I can have this whole variety. Because on my Facebook, which I have been growing a lot this year, I do have 25 to 40-year-olds. And it's great because I'm pregnant and starting a family, and I'm married. And yeah, the kids don't really relate to me, but they do look up to it because they're like, that's what I want. So I'm a goal for people on Snapchat and TikTok, and on Facebook, I'm like relatable because they're my age too. So it's a nice little variety.
Right. There's a lot of business professionals in the audience. LinkedIn's come up twice, which has been a bit of a surprise. Do you guys have any idea what to do on LinkedIn that will actually generate a sustainable, healthy audience? Caspar, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I love LinkedIn. As a creator, I took a slightly different route from a lot of creators. So, Creator Collective Capital is a fund I co-founded, and we did a research report where we looked in to what creators were doing with their businesses, what kind of businesses were they launching, and 40% of the businesses were fashion, 20% were beauty, and the rest were food and fitness, etc., and only 1% were B2B. So I'm like, oh, in hindsight, I launched a B2B company with my great co-founder, Ben Jeffries, called Influencer.com. And that's probably why we had a little bit more success than if I competed with everyone in the fashion space. And so I am obsessed with LinkedIn because as a creator, I get opportunities like coming to Web Summits, talking, saying Influencer.com in front of all these incredible people, hopefully some investors too. And I wouldn't get that opportunity as easily not being a creator. So what I'm saying is, use LinkedIn. If you're an entrepreneur, become a creator on LinkedIn because you can get these massive opportunities that you just maybe wouldn't get in other places. But that can also happen on Instagram. It can also happen on Facebook.
But what should people be posting on LinkedIn?
So for me, it's been more personal thing. For example, I struggle with anxiety, especially before performing or public speaking. Hence why I've brought my knitting. Also, I have to finish this in time for Christmas for my mom.
Is it going to be a scarf?
Yeah, it's a really wonky scarf.
Nice.
But opening up about things like that, more personal, not just, oh my God, we made $1 million today. That kind of stuff doesn't really work very well. I think people want to see a true behind the scenes of what it's like starting a company.
Makes sense. If I were to add to that, so 2 weeks ago, we started a LinkedIn show for the first time in 5 years. And my chat with the LinkedIn leadership basically made me realize that in the next few months, 60% of the news feed will most likely become video. Images are dead. Text is dead. So video is the future. Let's all agree on that, and then metaverse. So if the newsfeed of LinkedIn is going to be 60%...
You believe the metaverse is going to happen?
100%.
Okay. But
Never bet against dedicated people.
Okay.
So 60% is going to be video. Again, imbalance. Nobody's creating video content on LinkedIn. That's the opportunity. Your profile is going to change. I don't care about where you studied 20 years ago. I care about your most recent post. And I think the profile is going to change as well to highlight creators a little bit more on LinkedIn.
I also think that on LinkedIn, because I use LinkedIn, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for LinkedIn. I was invited through there. It separates creators that are using social media as a business and not just for followers and likes.
Yeah. Right.
When I go on LinkedIn and I see other TikTokers, people on Snapchat, Instagram, that are really using LinkedIn and posting articles and sharing what's going on in the platforms, I automatically have more respect for them because they get it's a business and they're not just doing it to get clout, for example.
And let's talk about the business side for just a minute. Now, people think about social media influence. The first thing they think about is it's a way to make money. on advertising. The second thing that I think is actually more important is what else it gets you. And we've touched on it a little bit in this process. I mean, Sarah, you and I, we've talked earlier about how if you're relying only on advertising, you're dead. And so what else can you use a big social media following to get outside of advertising? And how can people in the audience apply that to their business?
So look, people need to remember that distribution equals money. Forget ads. If you reach 1 million people on the internet, most likely one of them is the CEO of a company watching your video in the bathroom, and he's like, oh, we should use this person in my company. Let's give him $100,000. That's how the world works. So when it came to the story of Nas Daily, I indexed on distribution. I don't care about ad revenue. 100, 200, 300 million views per month. And then we built the company on top of it, in which we went to the company people. You've seen the video in your bathroom. Now let's work together. And that's why now we're like 120 people as a company. We're venture-backed. We just raised $11 million for Nas Academy. The investors also knew the videos, and it made the process of raising money and hiring people 10 times easier.
Let's hear from this side of the stage.
Yeah, so something I'm super excited about, which is the next stage of my journey. I mean, launching influencer.com, we now have 75 people.
And we should say, it connects brands with influencers.
So we do what originally I made most of my money as a creator doing, which is brand deals, revenue through content and working with brands directly. But since then, I learned about venture capital and the opportunity that comes with that, and you spoke about it yourself. And I see creators as the next big angel investors, the next big venture capital people, because they provide more than just money. They're a value add. They know what's about to happen within the market. They know what their audience wants to see, and they're a marketing channel as well. So they're a great value add investor. So at Creator Collective Capital, we're working with the world's biggest creators to help them diversify their revenue streams and not just rely on ad revenue, but also venture capital as an asset class.
So they can use their following to invest in other companies and help give them reach.
Exactly.
Sarati?
I just think it gives you freedom. I think having a following is very powerful in a lot of ways. And with me, I just started my own fitness company called SaratiBody, and it's been really wonderful. I want to start a health and wellness brand after I have my child. That's like my next step. But we're also all on different levels. You've said you've been 10 years in social media, 5 years.
I'm a granddad.
I've been 2 years full-time, 3 years total. First year really trying to push myself and make it. So I'm at this stage of just starting the company aspect and just trying to really market myself in that way, because you also don't want to push your followers away. There's like a middle line of how much am I going to sell to you before you sit and go, that's too much. You know, so that's where I'm at. And in a couple years when I come to Web Summit, hopefully I'll have this like billion-dollar company, or, you know, we'll see. But it's a really interesting thing that you have that freedom to do.
Yeah, and speaking of too much, you all have at certain points of your life, or even today, spent your life making content, right?
Right.
Everybody here has to make content for their jobs. And a lot of us burn out. I know I have. How have you dealt with the burnout in your work? And is there anything people out there can learn from what you've done that will be able to help them create but do it sustainably?
So for me, it's just diversifying where I get my happiness from and not relying so much on what was my YouTube channel at the time. And I used to look at the views every day and go like, oh my God, are they going up? Are they going down? Are they going left? Are they going right? And I realized like that's all I cared about at a certain point, and I had to find out what else in life gave me meaning. And for me, a big part of that was meditation. Things like, seems very silly, but knitting is something Tom Daly taught me about. These sorts of things can bring so much more meaning. And I think that people who are creators, they feel like they're in this rat race because they're constantly struggling for views against the algorithm, competing. And also, if they don't have a diversified revenue source, it becomes very difficult when they see their numbers going down. So
yeah,
that's my take.
For me, I do a couple of things. Number one is screen time. If you don't have screen time on your phone, I highly suggest doing it. It's something that changed my entire viewpoint on social media at the beginning of the year. I was having really bad mental health problems and anxiety. I mean, you're constantly checking your phone, and when you get thousands of comments and notifications every day, it's like that's where all my attention goes. So from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., I get notifications. After that, I get none until the next morning, and it allows me to actually have a job. It's like my 9 to 7. That's how I do
Boundaries.
it. Yeah. And then the other thing is not finding your worth in your views. Everybody does it. If you have a viral video, like the feeling you get is just you're on top of the world and you can own anything and do anything. And then when you have a bad day, it just crushes you. So yeah, doing other things that provide you happiness, having good people in your life, and just putting it down for a second and being like, you know what, without this is this like weird virtual thing. I'm still a person and everything's okay.
Can you be happy creating content on social media for a living, whether you do it as your own person or whether you do it for a company?
The answer is no.
I think you can.
If you're trying to make
happy.
content and you want to be happy, it is impossible. Here's why. Humans are built for 150 connections, 150 friends. That's like for the last thousands of years, you have 150 connections max. That's what your brain can tolerate. If you're a content creator, all of a sudden you have 15 million connections and 1.5 million haters.
Yep.
What the hell? I'm not used to getting a million hate messages.
Yeah.
No human is built for that.
So what do you do?
Find balance.
Oh, I don't believe in balance, so I think...
I've found balance with it, or somebody else reads it for me. I mean, I do read it to a certain extent. You have to just see how you're being perceived online, but everyone is different. So we talk about this, and I am very happy in mine because I've figured out something that works.
Yeah. All right.
for
I
him,
want to do let's do a lightning round before they kick us off stage.
Okay.
Couple of questions for the panelists. Number one, Facebook or Meta?
Meta.
Meta.
Facebook.
Ooh.
I think it's kind of scary what's happening.
Okay. Lisbon by day or Lisbon by night?
Lisbon by day. We get to be on the main stage during the day. I mean, this is
Lisbon
great.
by day.
This is my first time here, so I like all of the times a day.
See, this is how you guys keep balance. You just chill at night. Okay, 1,000 followers or $1,000?
1,000 followers.
1,000
Followers.
followers. Jeez.
1 million followers on $1 million.
1 million followers.
1 million followers.
Million followers, yeah.
10?
I mean, it makes you more money.
10 million?
10
100
million.
million?
10 million.
10 million followers.
1 billion followers.
1 billion followers.
10 billion followers.
No, 10 million followers makes you more than $10 million if you do it right.
Of the right platform.
Yeah.
Not on TikTok.
Hey, you don't know that.
I know that.
Different people, you know.
When do you stop? Well, actually, we're out of time. But just quickly, what's your number and makes you stop, money-wise?
This is not a mission to become famous.
Okay.
This is a mission to make value. You create value when you create content. Therefore, you should never stop.
I like it.
All right, that's all our time. Thank you
love that.
so much. It's been a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
What a great panel.